Hey everyone, so today I want to tell you guys about a way to be able to play the PTB of Dead by Daylight and also be able to play the live version of Dead by Daylight without having to reinstall the PTB and vice versa. Now if you're like me, you have really bad Wi-Fi speed, and when you're having to reinstall the PTB or the actual live version of the game, it can get pretty difficult because it will take about an hour or two because, you got bad drives, bad Wi-Fi speed, whatever, doesn't matter. It's just creating your speed to be bottlenecked by Steam. And then you have to wait 1 hour or 2 hours trying to get into your game with your buddies. And then if you're like me and play it late at night, then you probably won't even get to play with your buddies because they're all asleep by the time you're done installing it. Thanks to some people on Reddit, I found a way to actually be able to play both the PTB and Dead by Daylight by simply clicking a bat file. Makes it very quick. All you do, you click it and you can switch between the live and the PTB version without having to reinstall anything. So today we're going to go about the process of how do we actually do this. If you guys like the video, I really do ask that you like and subscribe. And if this video gets enough popularity, I'm thinking of actually creating an automated system so it's easier to make this bat file. But it's not too difficult, and I really do believe in you guys, so I say we get right into it. So right now you see I currently have Dead by Daylight installed. I have the live version currently installed. But I want to be able to switch between the PTB and the normal version. So first thing you want to do is have the live version installed, not the PTB. You can do it the other way, but for the case of this tutorial and the ease of people following along, I'm asking you have the live version installed. First thing you want to do is click Properties, go to Installed Files, and go to where you have the game installed. It'll bring this window up, and you will see your Dead by Daylight files, and you want to go to Common. Now, I have two folders because I already did this, but you're going to just see your Dead by Daylight file. Here, you want to copy it, and you want to paste it in the same folder that you have your Dead by Daylight file. This is going to say something like Dead by Daylight-copy. You want to rename that file to Dead by Daylight-live. You see how I have Dead by Daylight-PTB? Well, you want to rename that. Instead of having PTB like I do, you want to have this PTB say live in all caps. It doesn't have to be that way, but just for ease of making this bat file between switching the games, it makes it a lot easier to have everything organized like that. And then after you're done with that, you want to go to SteamApps. Here you're going to see a bunch of app manifest files, or maybe one of Dead by Daylight's your only game. And you're going to look for the Dead by Daylight app manifest _ 381210. You want to make a copy of that. This one's also going to say something like -copy or whatever, just saying you created a copy of the file. And you want to rename that to -live, like you did. In this case, I have my PTB one, but you can just ignore it and pretend that it's a -live. Now that you have that file, we can keep in mind that that -live manifest and folder is your live version of Dead by Daylight. And you need to remember that that's not the one you're currently playing. If you click play on Steam, it's going to be running from this file, not your -live. So we need to keep this in mind for when we're doing this. So now that we have our -live file, we can go ahead and install the PTB. So to install the PTB, you just want to go back to this screen right here, and you want to go to betas. You go to beta, and you just want to click none, and switch it over to the public test. Now, what this is going to do is install the PTB on this file right here. Now I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Now you can see the selected version is public-test. Now we know that we have the PTB installed. Good job. Now we want to go back to our properties, go to our installed files, and we're going to tweak the files a little bit. So you're going to see something like this. Now mine doesn't have a little space between the live I recommend doing it that way, but if you do it that way, you need to keep in mind that throughout the tutorial, anything that says this right here, you have to include that space. And if you don't, you might have problems. I should have did it, but I didn't. But this is what you're going to see. Same with the manifest. Mine has a dash on this for whatever reason. So now that your files look like mine, you did it. Good job. You have both Dead by Daylight live version and the PTB installed. To make this easy to switch between, because now I have the PTB installed, we want to create a bat file so we're able to actually switch between it just with a click of a button. So you want to go here, right click on your Windows screen, new, and create a text document. And you can name this whatever. I'm going to call this switch underscore PTB and I'll do a little and symbol because I'm feeling cool today, and live. It doesn't matter what you name it, just something that will help you recognize what you're looking at. And we want to open this with your notepad. Now here is the current bat file that I have, and you can see here it has a bunch of stuff. Now don't worry, you're not actually going to have to be able to read all this, but we need to take the code that I have in the description and put it in your file. Now this right here, I'm just going to delete. It's not going to be in the description. It doesn't matter. But here, this does matter. So you can see here, I have a script that changes my file names automatically. This changes the PTB to the live, and this changes the live to the PTB. I'll highlight it too so you can see what I mean. This changes PTB to live, and this changes live to PTB. To get your files synced up properly, we want to change the name of this right here. You won't have to change the name of this, 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 this. Oh, I don't know if I can highlight that, that, and this. But just to make sure you guys are on the same page, notice how this does not have a space. In the description, I'm going to include this with a space, just so you guys have that ease of not having to worry about it. But let's say you renamed your file in Dead by Daylight as something like, instead of having it -live, you have it as Dead by Daylight other version. You would have to change the name of that here, right? But keeping in mind that we have the PTB currently installed, we want to go here to switch it to live. This is probably the biggest part, I would say, if you're currently on the PTB version of the game on Steam and you want to switch it to your live version. So you see here where it says the pathway to the manifest file. Well, we want to go to our manifest file, the one that is currently active. So this is the PTB manifest file. So we want to go to SteamApps and we want to go to it. You don't want to go to this one. You want to go to this one, not the live version. And you want to grab your path, do a little dash, and grab it right here. Now, I don't know how to actually grab the path if it's not a folder, but what you can do is just copy it, right? And you can just paste it in there like that. Make sure to include that dash. And then that will be your pathway to that manifest file. And then when you want to switch to the live version, it renames that file to PTB. That way, when we have the live version up, Steam does not use the PTB version, and we can actually switch to the live. Similar with that, we have our live version right here. So, same thing, you want to copy this path that you have that file in, and you want to replace this section right here with it. Now, again, make sure that if your file says anything other than what it says right here, then to change it to match your file. If not, you'll have a problem. And what this does is change it to the default name of the manifest file of this one right here. So this name changes to this name, and this one changes to -PTB. So the live one becomes active, and the PTB one is inactive. So now that we have our manifest file going to PTB to live, now we can work on our folder. So kind of like how we did our manifest file, we want to go to common in our Steam apps, and you're going to see two folders. The one we're looking for right now is our actual game. So you go to the PTB version that you have active currently. You want to click it, copy the path, and replace this whole string with it right here. And what this is going to do is change the folder name right here to Dead by Daylight -PTB. Now that we have that, where it changes the name to make it inactive, we can make our live version go to active. So we want to go to our live version, and we want to, if I can do it right, we want to copy this whole pathway, making sure to include the actual folder name. So in this case, my Dead by Daylight -live. And we want to paste it in here. Right here. Like that. And what that's going to do is change it to Dead by Daylight. So like the manifest files, the PTB version is going to be named as Dead by Daylight -PTB, and this is going to just be named as Dead by Daylight, and it's going to get rid of the -live to make it active. So now we have a system to have the PTB version switch to the live version. So let's say we're not on the PTB version and we want to go to the live version. Well, if it's not named this, we have the script go to the other route to make the live go to the PTB. Now, you won't actually have the file names, so you're not going to be able to just copy and paste like you did. So what you can do, and I would say this is probably the easiest, is just copy and paste the entire top that you have right here, paste it right here, then change the little PTB part to live. Here, this says PTB. You want to grab the top part right here, and you want to paste it in here, but you want to replace this part with PTB. And you just want to go down the line and do it. So here we have this. See, this says PTB right here. We don't want it to say that, so we want it to say live. And same goes for this. And you want this to say PTB. So you can kind of see it switch off. PTB, live, PTB, live, live, PTB, live, PTB. Now you got to make sure to have them spaces in there, and then where my file actually does not have the space between it, we want to make sure when we're looking at the file that we get rid of that space, or else our script won't work. See how this one has it? Now I'm not going to do that to the app manifest because, like a silly goose I am, I correctly named that one, just not the folder. And then boom, you're done. You want to save that as a bat file. I go to all documents, save that as bat, and then you want to save that to your desktop. Going back on Steam, we can see your selected version currently says public-test. To be able to switch it over, we want to exit out of Steam completely. That means going to your sidebar and clicking exit Steam. That means going to your hidden icons and actually right-clicking and clicking exit Steam. Now that Steam is fully closed, we can click this little icon. And you can see here, it says done. Let's go. It's done. Click any key, it'll close. And now we want to open up Steam. Opening up Steam, you see that it disappeared. It no longer says that we're on the PTB. And if we ever want to go back, we fully close out of Steam, making sure not to minimize it and not to just click the X because Steam does not truly close, but to go to the hidden icons and click exit Steam. And then you click that file, and then you can reboot Steam, and you should see it switched. That's pretty much the entire tutorial. And again, if you guys really liked this tutorial, I can create an automatic file that may actually make this more automatic. And what I mean by that is instead of having it where you have to put in your pathway that way, it will just ask you to copy and paste your pathway into a box, and it will automatically set up everything for you in the file. That way, you don't have to actually go through the process of making sure everything's completely right. I just want to give a huge thanks to those online who helped assist making this video. All I really did was spread the information that I was given and slightly edit a bat file. But really, it was just research I found on Reddit with people telling me about how they do it, and then other people telling me about their bat file idea. Huge thanks to them for making this video possible. But also, this video wouldn't have been possible without you guys watching it. So I just want to say thank you to you guys who are supporting this video by watching it. And if you liked this video, please subscribe, like the video, put a comment, and if there's anything I can do, just ask. I'm new to this, so I'm hoping to make more tutorials. And yeah, bye.